Hey everyone, welcome back to RJK English. We're going to continue our song series. This is going into a different type of American song. This is called a folk song. Folk songs are old songs that are carried around by people. They're made by regular people. They stay in the community through people. It's not considered high music. Like in India, for instance, you have folk music. Maybe they are singing Kabir's songs. There's a guy on the street with a one string and he's going, ah, and he's telling a story. It's usually a story about the Ramayana or something really horrible that happened. But it's different from classical singers, which are going to be in, a major venue in, in Carnegie Hall or something like this. So this is a folk song, but this is a type of folk song, and it's very common here in the U.S. It's called a murder ballad. A ballad is a song that tells a story. This is the old meaning. Today we use ballad to mean a love song, but it used to mean a narrative song, so a song that told a story. I'm going to sing you the first verse so that you know the tune, and so that you hear how shocking this is. Wait for the last verse, okay? Do you notice how simple it is to play it? It's a simple song. That's usually how folk songs are. Down in the willow garden, where me and my true love did meet. It was there we went a-courting, while my love fell off to sleep. I had a bottle of burgundy wine. My true love, she did not know. It was there I murdered that poor little girl down on the banks below. All right, did you catch the last verse? So it's a little shocking because the song is written in a style that is somewhat, it sounds happy and it's somewhat pretty. So obviously I'm singing it, it's not professionally done, so it's not super pretty, but we will play it later. It's a pretty song, and many people sing it and they start crying just from the song because it sounds very heartfelt. But let's look at the verses, and I also have them in the comments or the description so that you can follow along that way as well. Down in the willow garden. So willows are these weeping willow trees. They hang over like this, and you can go under them. They're very pretty. They're by the water. So down in the willow garden, where me and my true love did meet. Notice this did meet. This is old style of songwriting and old style of singing. It's a folk song. So they met in the willow garden. It was there we went a-courting. This is an old way of saying like dating before marriage. So they were seeing each other seriously. It was there we went a-courting, while my love fell off to sleep. So they might be having a picnic, and she fell asleep in this beautiful area. It's romantic, right? I had a bottle of burgundy wine, a bottle of wine. My true love, she did not know. So he snuck some wine in. So she might be concerned about this. It was there I murdered that poor little girl. Mardia. It was there I murdered that poor little girl down on the banks below. The banks, so they're sitting up with the willows, and then it goes down towards the river, and that's called a river bank, the edge of the river. So the last line is quite shocking because it sounds so nice. Oh, they're having a nice time. That's where they love each other. He even calls her his true love. So now you have to ask why. And in murder ballads, Often the songs are from the perspective of the person that did the murdering. This song was first recorded in 1927, so almost 100 years ago now. Wow. My grandfather was born in 1911. He's not alive anymore, but that's really crazy. So anyways, but it's probably even older than that. Folk songs often get passed on orally. They're not written down or recorded, and they didn't have recording equipment till what, early 1900s. So it's from Ireland. So Irish songs, Scottish songs, they tend to have this storytelling aspect to them, and they tend to be somewhat tragic. They're about tragic songs, and tragic songs bring out a different feeling in us, right? These are a little bit more complicated because he's killed her, but he obviously loved her as well. How is that possible? Okay, this is a dark song, okay, and this is a dark genre of song. But over time, we're going to cover all of them because you should see the different types of American songs. So let's keep going. So, before we do, down in the Willow Garden where me and my true love did meet, we went a-courting. These do not rhyme. While my love fell off to sleep. And now this is the second part. It changes. It's down in the Willow Garden, da 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 da, and then it goes, I had a bottle. So this is the second part of the song. It's almost like a chorus, but old songs don't have choruses. I had a bottle of Burgundy wine. My true love, she did not know. It was there I murdered that dear little girl down on the banks below. So it also has a time sequence to it. And this is in 3/4 time. It's the waltz time that we talked about last time. Da, 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 da. It's waltz time. Da, 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 da. Okay? And it's down one to the willow, to garden, 4 sets of 3, where me and my true love did meet. 4. It's going to be like that the whole time. 4, so 8, 8, 8, and 8. And at the end, it's going to rhyme. That's the structure. Okay, now, second part. I drew my saber through her. Saber is a sword, and drawing it through someone means stabbing them and pulling it back out. I drew my saber through her. It was a bloody night. I threw her into the river. It was an awful sight. This is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. My father often told me that money would set me free if I but murdered that dear little girl whose name was Rose Connolly. So this murder ballad, often these murder ballads are based on real things that happened. So there might have been a guy that killed Rose Connolly. He was put to death, and this person wrote this story about it. Why did it happen? This indicates here, my father often told me that money would set me free. It could be that the woman has money and he thinks he can kill her and get the money. It could be that someone wants her to die and will pay to get him out of jail if he does this. All right, it's pretty horrible. Yeah. But he does say her name. And in a way, he has immortalized her. She lives forever now through this song. There's something where he loved but he killed, and he still remembers her. The hard thing about murder ballads is the most dangerous thing to women are men. Men kill women. It's something that's kind of horrible. I have written a song about this. I actually wrote 2 different songs, but one, it's called Fargo and Men. And because I was watching the show Fargo, and we will talk about that, and thought about this. And this song is used in a TV version of Fargo. I think it's the 2nd season. Last verse. Usually these songs have 3 verses. That's very common in the United States to have 3 verses to a song. Now he stands at his cabin door, wiping the tears from his eyes. Who? Gazing on his own dear son upon the scaffold high. So this person that he's talking about has a son. Who is it? It's his father. Now he, his father, who gave him this advice, stands at his cabin door wiping the tears from his eyes. He's looking at his own son who's on the scaffold. The scaffold is where you get hung. So the people have caught him, the people and the authorities have caught him, and they're putting him to death, the person who's singing the song. Now he's going to switch voice. He's talking about someone else, that's third person. He stands. Now he's going to talk about himself. My race is run, the person that's dying. You can picture him, he has the noose on and he's looking before they drop him. And he goes, now my race is run beneath the sun. My race has been run. We sometimes see life as a race that you run or a path that you walk. His race has run. He's at the end. My race is run beneath the sun. The devil is waiting for me. Why is the devil waiting for him? He's going to hell. He killed someone. For I did murder that dear little girl whose name was Rose Connolly. So he could feel remorse. He could also just feel afraid of hell, right? So what do we make of a song like this? Part of it is, like I said, the most dangerous thing for women is men. Women are killed all over the world by men. And that's what I touch on in my song Fargo and Men, which maybe I'll do it later, is the danger that women have for men. But also, it is a folk song. It's about a normal person. You know, a lot of our songs are about heroes and, oh, this guy does such great things. He gets all the women. And then there's people that do regular things. So, well, this is not a regular thing to kill someone. But he is not royalty. So in a way, it's a song of the people, right? I'm going to play the song now. You can stay for it, or you can look in the description and you can listen yourself on your own time. I'm going to play the original, one of the older versions, and you're going to hear what we call Appalachian folk music. The Appalachian people are in the Appalachian Mountains in the US. They come from Ireland. They brought these Irish songs with them. And you can see this in some movies that I put in the description. You can watch these movies and you'll see some of this culture. They have their own culture. It's a culture of revenge. There is revenge and honor in their culture. It's an older culture. They're also very close to their family. So we often look up to them because they're very close to the land, but there's also violence involved and they're often very poor. So take it for what it is. Here you've learned a little bit about American folk music. And this type of song is everywhere in American music. Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix. Delia by Johnny Cash. I mean, I can name off a bunch, but this idea of killing and the person being sorry is a part of these. But these are also part of novels, right? Dostoevsky, he writes a book about someone that murdered someone, but it also goes through what he felt afterwards. So it has pathos. Look up the word pathos, P-A-T-H-O-S. This comes from Greek. It means, for me, it means deep feeling. And that's often what we need in stories. So anyways, I'm going to play this. My favorite version is the Bon Iver version. I have that in the description. All right, we'll play this and then we'll end. Notice it's an old type of song. This is a folk song. And you're going to hear the Appalachian style. This is an old style. We often call this bluegrass as well, but bluegrass is another type of music, but it's very similar. It's mountain music, okay? And it has characteristics like Irish music.
Down in the willow garden, where me and my love did meet, there we sat a-courting, my love dropped off to sleep. I had a bottle of the burgundy wine, which my true love did not know, and there I poisoned that dear little girl down under.
So they say poisoned.
I stabbed her with my dagger.
Stabbing
threw her into the river, which was a dreadful sight. My father often told me that money would set me free if I would murder that dear little girl whose name was Ruth Connolly.
All right, everyone. So last thing I have to say is there is an indication, because they say poisoned in the old lyrics. I use the Bon Iver version. It's my favorite. But it does indicate that he was supposed to poison her, but he went too far. He got drunk, and this rage came out of him. And there is a sense here that men or people hold a darkness in them. There's a darkness inside of them that can come out. And in blues, they say that this is a spirit that drives people. They do crazy things. In old Greek mythology, there was a demon, they didn't think of it like a demon like we do, that drives people to do these things. There's a darkness inside people, and it can come out, especially when they drink, according to the Irish. I think that's it. That's all I have to say. So I hope this is useful to you. I hope it's interesting. Make sure to add comments. Look over what I wrote. I wrote a lot about the history and some movies that you could watch. Fargo is one of those. Fargo is based on a part of the Midwest that is considered very neighborly and kind, and then they commit horrible murders. If you're from Korea, you might know the movie Memories of Murder, where there's serial killing in a certain town, and everybody's horrified. That's what this is about, and it's about the darkness that's inside people. Okay, so I hope that was useful to you. I will see you next time.